All right, everybody. My name's Hunter Willis, and you are watching the feature, our roll-up of what's new and what's coming for Apptio's products. This week, we've got a great episode. We're going to be talking about what's new with ApptioOne, what's new with Cloudability and Targetprocess, as per usual. And we've got a really good conversation going in depth a little bit about our new Cloudability GCP CUDS recommendations. That's the Google Cloud Platform Committed Use Discount recommendations for those that aren't familiar with the acronyms. The conversation, we're diving into that with Nate Besh. And without further ado, though, before we get there, we're going to go ahead and dive into the updates for ApptioOne. We've got the BI visualization updates. There's some new charts and interactivity options within Apptio BI. We've got stacked area charts and donut charts, right, giving new ways to ingest the information that's coming through Apptio BI. They're easily understand things and basically get more value out of the platform and the data that they're seeing, right? You can also share links with those users that already have access to different reports for those as well. Now, there's also the ability to put PDF and subscription emails from Apptio BI, so you can leverage the data, right, to customize visualizations and then share those with anyone within the organization there. So that capability has been added as well. There's a couple of regular updates that have come to ApptioOne Plan and the platform update. And Apptio BI, we've also added the ability to view the last 180 days, so like a pre-filter in there to, again, more quickly get to the data that you need. And then we have a BI community post in the Apptio community, and just overall, we're really trying to put more content in the Apptio community there for you. So for existing customers, we have a community space. For those that aren't aware, you can go to community.apptio.com, log in, and basically see that content. We post videos, instructional information, solution information, etc. as well. Now, we've got a lot more releases coming to Apptio BI over the next couple of months, and there's also going to be rolling out some in-product enablement, right? So stay tuned for that. It's going to be really great to have that faster time to value for people that are getting to know the platform, and also kind of tips and tricks and things like that, so you can really dive into the details that you didn't know, like features that you may not have known were in there. We're also adding some updates for more ServiceNow integrations to the platform. So keep on the lookout for those, and we'll keep you tuned as those things roll out here through the feature as well. Excited to announce for Cloudability, we did have that successful launch of Cloudability Government. We had the TBM Public Sector Conference here just a couple of weeks ago. Had a great time. Had a lot of great conversations around FinOps, Cloud for Government, but also rolling in like Agile and TBM into those stories as well. People had a lot of questions, and it was a really good time. But essentially, our Cloudability platform, and now we have a Cloudability Government version of that is FedRAMP authorized in the AWS Gov Cloud, that opens up Cloudability as an option for agencies in the federal space there. Now, in Cloudability, we also have an update to allow recommendations without data. We can still make recommendations on those resources within Cloudability now, which is a great enhancement for customers that don't have those options. And then for the Azure custom role in the UI, for the account that we set up with Cloudability that has an Azure connection, we basically run a script to set up a custom role to be able to do that, to minimize the permissions access there for security. And you can see within the solution now in the account settings if that's been enabled for that connection. So really fast way to troubleshoot and make sure that that's been taken care of. And there's a lot of information in the community instructions and the help center for that as well. So we've also added support for Azure Cost Management APIs. We've got a separation of Azure resource group tags. So again, more filtering capabilities, more abilities to analyze data in ways that are useful for you. And then we did have our FinOps webinar. I've touched on that here, but there's that information. It's the Apptio AWS FinOps webinar you can find on our website through a search. And we also put a link in last month's episode. On the horizon, we've got FinOps X coming up, so we're really excited about that. We're going to have a lot of folks going and got a couple of presentations there. That's always a great event, so we're really excited to talk to people. And looking forward to that. A lot of people in here are talking about it on a fairly regular basis. So it's going to be a really good time and a great event, we anticipate. So, and then we're also on the horizon going to be bringing some of the Azure GovCloud data into Cloudability Commercial here. So stay tuned for that, especially for our state, local, and education focused customers. And then we also are getting ready to and in the process of launching our beta for Cloud Financial Planning. You can sign up for that if you're an existing Cloudability customer, okay? You can sign up for that going to apptio.com/CFP-beta, okay? And you can see a video of what Cloud Financial Planning is and what it's all about. Sign up for the beta there, and we're going to be rolling that out. The first wave is kind of already set up and is going to go. The second wave is going to be in the second part of May there, and there may be another wave added if we need to. We'll see how things go, but definitely go check that out and sign up there. All right. Do want to touch on, didn't forget to talk about those CUD purchase recommendations for GCP in Cloudability, but really want to wait for that conversation with Nate Besh. We're going to deep dive into this, so I'm not going to cover it a whole lot here, but do know that that update has been released for Cloudability as well, and we're pretty excited about that one too. Moving on to Targetprocess. Before we get to that conversation, though, we've got budgeting enhancements to Targetprocess, right? So there's more funding portfolios and work and people and products within Targetprocess. So you can support that budgeting process through adding budget targets, proposals, approvals, and tracking its actuals within the solution. So that's a really big enhancement to the budgeting capabilities within Targetprocess. And we've added a few solution videos that are going to be available through places like the community, the website, right, that are going to help walk through solutions. We've also got additional training available to our customers and partners for Targetprocess that you can check out. And we have 2 Amplify Agile episodes, though. So we have a couple of other podcasts, most notably our FinOps Fridays, right, in addition to the feature. And we have our Amplify Agile webinar podcast that goes out as well. So go check that out. Last month's episode the last episode we had was on strategic planning and OKRs, and the next one is going to be on implementing SAFe in partnership with your finance teams. Okay, so check out that episode of the last episode 7 there, and then episode 8 is coming up here very soon, so be on the lookout for that. Basically, everything else, we've got some more solution pages and some minor updates coming down the road. So look forward to those solution pages coming on the website. You can learn more about Targetprocess and how organizations use it to, basically implement Agile, right, and improve their Agile practice for their organizations. And then the SAFe Summit is coming to Prague, right? We will have a presence there and doing a C Prime Lunch and Learn. That's going to be on May 15th and 17th. All right. Without further ado, here's the main event. We've got a great conversation with Nathan Besh, and we're going to go ahead and dive into that right now. All right, great. So again, I'm here with Nate Besh. Nate, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do here at Apptio, and then we'll dive right into the committed use discount recommendations here that's being added to Cloudability.
Excellent. Thank you, Hunter. Yes, so I'm here as a product manager and also a technical evangelist. It's a great job title. As an evangelist, I get to talk about the problems, but it's also my job to fix them with product as well. So it's quite a good sort of dual hat to wear there.
That's great. Yep. And you know what? Let's do it. Let's plug FinOps Fridays too. You're running that podcast here. We actually have a link to that in the video when you see it online after this is run live. Go check out FinOps Fridays with Nate. Nate, you want to plug that really quick too before we move on here?
Yeah, FinOps Fridays at ApptioOne.com. Just do a quick search for that. YouTube, your favorite streaming platforms. We've been going for a little bit over a year now, so we pop those out about 2 a month. So some great content, really good discussion with experts in the field to understand the field as primarily an education and a learning resource. So really go deep into some topics, get to understand the topics better, how people approach them, and what some of the benefits and outcomes have been.
Nice plug. That was perfect, man. Okay, cool. Sorry, I just thought of that. Thought it would be a good opportunity to talk about that before we jump right into the committed use discounts. Okay, so we have this new CUDs feature here for Cloudability. Tell us about that and how it's handling that data coming from specifically, right, the GCP, the Google Cloud Platform, and how Cloudability is handling that and making those recommendations. And then let's talk about some of the value that's bringing for our customers based, on what you can get from Google and what already exists in Cloudability.
Yeah, so in terms of a committed use discount, a CUD, as we call them, nothing terribly new there. It is, you make a commitment to a cloud vendor. AWS has reserved instances, savings plans, Azure has the same, and GCP has CUDs and a few different forms of those. So you make a commitment to the vendor. I will spend this amount or run this amount of resources with you for a defined period. That's a good commitment. Everyone loves commitments. You get a discount based on that. So it's sort of a similar methodology across all the vendors. Make the commitment, get a discount. So it really is around how do we get recommendations and what is the best commitment, and that's what we're looking to find.
So in Cloudability now, being able to surface those, right? What's unique about the way that Cloudability is doing this when we actually are like looking for those recommendations?
Yeah, and this is where we took a really unique approach. So the default methodology for the tooling is to look at all of your usage for the last month or a previous time period, assume your usage is going to be identical to that, which is a crazy assumption because it's a cloud, everything changes. That's a really bad assumption. Forecast that and you make a recommendation. What we did, we wanted to make sure customers really have control over what they put into that analysis. So the first step is filtering out that usage. So removing things like performance testing, removing things like testing workloads. If you're going to decommission a workload in a month or 2 months time and it's tagged, you can remove that usage using that tag. So you've got great control, really granular control over the data that you want to analyze. So you can really make a much better recommendation that is tailored to you and tailored for your future business requirements. So we've really cleaned out that data to much more accurate representation of what's going to be going forward. We put that into the analysis engine and you get a default answer. Yes, for that particular usage, that time frame, we still use Apptio Cloudability's custom date picker. So if you did some really heavy work yesterday or last week, you can choose a period before that. That's great. And then we throw the analysis and that's the recommendation. What we've also added is a little bit more customization of that recommendation. So again, if you're a little bit risk adverse, you're not quite sure, maybe you've got a declining usage pattern, how are you going to make a better recommendation? So you can now do a what if analysis. The default recommendation is to purchase 100. What does 50 look like? You can now do that in the tool live. So you type in, I want to look at what is 50. Here's my saving. Here's my expense. And you can run through different analysis and again, really get a perfectly customized and accurate representation of what your future is going to look like. So much better control pre and post. We start to allow much more incorporation of risk as well into the recommendations.
Yeah, and you really, just like the way you're talking about it, you can really see how that works into like a FinOps practice, being able to optimize those costs, right? Being able to segment out specifically, the costs that you want to analyze, the stuff that isn't necessarily going to apply to those CUDs. And then, once you get those recommendations, being able to tailor that and develop a strategy for your teams in your organization. And this ties in pretty seamlessly with everything else that's going on with Cloudability. Is that right?
Exactly, and it is leveraging things like, the business dimensions, the tagging, all of those. How do we get tagging onto your recommendations? We now do that. So really changing the game, making sure that it is customized to, it's when you make a purchase, it's a business recommendation. It's a business commitment. There is risk involved. How do you factor in risk? There's been far too much focus on just technical accuracy without really taking into account the business. You want to make those trusted business decisions. That's what we're allowing customers to do here. Much more control, more inputs from your business, and better usage of the tooling as well.
Yeah, a lot more value coming out of those recommendations when you can really tailor it down like that. Well, Nate, thank you so much for your time today. Is there anything else you want to hit on here before we move on?
No, I'd recommend if you are a Cloudability customer, of course, get in there and have a look. Even if you're not a heavy GCP user, definitely have a look at the tooling to see how it works, to see what our approach is like with recommendations as well.
All right. Well, everybody, check out Nate and his podcast, the FinOps Fridays that we run here, to learn more information about implementing FinOps with your organization and hear directly from, other customers and other organizations that are running FinOps. Nate, thanks again so much for your time today, and we hope to have you back again soon.
No worries. Thank you very much.
All right, great. Thanks, Nate. Really appreciate your time as always. Really enjoyed that conversation, and I always appreciate him stopping by here to the feature. As always, for your product updates for our existing customers, you can check out the Help Center within Apptio. When you go to the product, one of the first sections in there's always the What's New section where you can see information. We're also, again, we're posting so much more in the Apptio community if you go to community.apptio.com. And everybody, thank you so much for watching today. We hope you like the content. Share it out. Feel free to have to comment underneath the content here. If you have any questions, leave us feedback or just want to reach out to us. And if you have any questions directly for our professionals, you can reach out to us by going to apptio.com, which is where you can find our other content in the resources section as well. So until we see you again, thanks for watching, and we'll